Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive Podcast. We are in the garden, behind the gardens of the gates, with the boys from the Working Class Bowhunter. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's happening?
We appreciate you guys taking the time and letting us in your studio to interview you guys. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. We had so much fun on the last podcast when we did this. I'm a mess. Do you guys even know what behind the garden of the gates is?
No.
I
Is that
sure
some
don't.
fish
Apparently,
term?
it's like the building right down the road from you.
I don't know what it is at all, really.
Oh, okay.
Because you said that on your way out, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But thanks for having us at our own studio.
You're welcome. We appreciate you letting us do this. My mic's falling. Sorry.
You're good?
All right. Why don't we go around table and kind of tell everybody kind of who's in the room, because nobody's going to know. So I'm East Coast Trev.
Austin Chandler, part of the Working Class crew.
It's just Steve.
Eric Hammond.
Curt Geyer.
Ross Bigger.
All right. They must be living under a rock if they don't know who you guys are. But
It's great that you think that, but we're from the Working Class Bowhunter Podcast.
We're a long ways away.
That's who we are.
If you guys haven't figured that out by now.
We're from Illinois and Iowa.
yeah. So we're here actually to do our 100th episode. We were, had the graces of being here and kind of doing that and getting... I can't even talk right now.
Dude, you're doing good. Are you nervous? This is your first podcast?
Yeah, it is actually. No.
Well, we are back to
first time.
one. The zeros are just on the other side for it.
There you
yeah,
go.
there
So
you
it's
go.
100th episode, man, and we just wanted to kind of, thank you guys for everything that you guys have done in this time period of us building our podcast, man.
Well, thank you, man. I don't know what we did, but appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, we didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Now, you guys were stupid enough to have us down here. That's your first mistake.
Hey, we enjoy your guys' company, man. It's always a good time. I've never had a bad time with you guys. So, maybe.
I was going to say we could roll that one back.
But
Maybe some other time.
Yeah. But honestly,
time to
we talked about it. And I was like, hey, if you guys want, because you guys were never on our show. So
Right.
come down and be on our show. And I was like, if you don't mind, you could do your 100th episode here and we could make like a special weekend for it.
Definitely. Yeah. So everyone listening, if you didn't catch it, prior to cutting our 100, we actually just rolled out an episode with Working Class over on their platform. When it comes out, get over there and check it out. So it's probably going to be a lot better, have a little better flow and make more sense. Because at this point, we're just bullshitting.
Good.
So
That's our kind of podcast.
Yeah.
We're a couple bloodies in already.
Hey, listen, this is exciting for us because we're on your show. And so we can just follow your lead and we will talk about anything.
Yeah.
So hopefully that makes this easier for. I know you're nervous, Trev. But
What's it like being on someone else's show in your own studio?
it's weird because I want to take charge of the interview.
Take over.
You won't do it. No.
Yeah, you wish, bitch.
No balls.
Pussy.
No balls.
Honestly, I think it's the first time we've ever done it, ain't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hey,
So it's a learning experience for us, too.
Hey,
You got to try everything once.
That's right.
always down to pop a cherry.
It just seems different because it's a cool actually.
Right.
Yeah.
But it makes me want to be like, Trev, tell me about.
Yeah, but what do you want? They already know everything about me. So why don't you tell me something?
Well, you're interviewing me. What do you want me to tell you?
So tell us a little bit about Working Class for the guys that haven't really, been, living under a rock, obviously.
Yeah, if you don't know at all, just from zero to 100, I guess, if you will, we started in early 2015. We've done 470 episodes up to this point of recording with you guys. You guys were 470. So if this launches before that, everyone knows that's coming. Haven't missed a week since we started. We kind of just wanted something comfortable, a comfortable listen, because when we started, we didn't really think there was much like that out, and I think we're one of the few that started when we did back in the day. But anyway,
There's only a handful when we
You guys are
first
like
started.
the OG.
yeah, which is weird to think about because
It is,
when
for
we would
sure.
go to shows and stuff back in the day or tell people about the podcast, be like, what's a podcast?
Yep.
So it's different. It's cool to see how it's changed, but we just committed to it and have so much fun with it. And it kind of turned into a company and then kind of just rolled into the point where now we have our own facility and studio and all that stuff. And we got some big projects coming down the line. I guess we can just go ahead and make one announcement now, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a series coming with Drury Outdoors and Deercast.
That's incredible, man.
Which is a dream come true for us. Nothing's changing with us. The cool thing about that, though, it'll be Like you can find it on Deercast, you'll find it on Drury Outdoors YouTube, but it'll be clean. Like, because, you know, on our show, typically we kind of cuss a lot and just don't say whatever we want. And we probably miss a lot of listeners because, you know, they want to listen with their kids in the car, but that's just the way we've always done it and the way we enjoy to do the Working Class series. But this one will be kind of E-rated, E for everybody. And so that'll be fun to do that. We have a lot of things, you know, I can't get too into detail, but it's going to be different. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yep. And so that's a big announcement. You know, we're working with the biggest guys in the whitetail game, the OGs of the whitetail industry and really the turkey industry too. But so we're super stoked about that. Developed a great friendship with Mark Drury and Matt and all them guys over there at all good people. So basically it just started from a passion of hunting, had fun podcasting, just stayed at it. And then over the years, you know, Austin and Ross got added into the crew and it's kind of just all...
And Doug.
Yeah, Doug. Yep, Doug's in there. And then it all just kind of fell into the groove and it just makes sense.
Right.
Like it seems like it's fairly effortless as far as our crew is concerned. You know, it's a lot of effort in recording and doing all that and getting the content out and all these projects are a lot of behind the scenes work a lot of people probably don't realize. But it's been fun, man. We've had an incredible ride and we're ready to buckle down even harder moving forward. So
that's awesome. And congratulations on the Drury brothers. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, that's a dream come true, right? I mean,
yeah,
like,
it is.
Like when you were a kid, what did you do? I mean, I know you're like a monster buck lover. Like,
yeah,
that's
monster
just
bucks
like,
and Drury are my jam, you know?
So like your whole entire life, you always want that one dream. You guys are living that dream. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Like walking in here last night and stuff, I'm like, so this is what dreams look like, huh? Like dreams do come true, huh?
This
Like,
happened.
Well,
It's
I don't
amazing.
know. How good call after the game coming up last week.
All right.
But you went from like fanboy to road crew to staff.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's cool though. Like, I don't know, Eric, I don't know how you feel, but people say that like, man, you can believe like what the podcast has done. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't fit. It didn't happen like in 2 days, and I'm like,
Right.
holy shit, I'm with the Drury boys, and we got all this stuff, and it, you know, this has been an everyday hustle for 6.5 years of just grinding.
And well, like too, like when we first started, I didn't think we'd be at this point.
No.
Where we're at now. Like I thought we'd still be sitting in lawn chairs in the extra bedroom
just
of
a
your
hobby.
house and drinking
Yeah.
beer, you know?
I mean, of course we're thankful for it. Like,
Oh, for sure.
Like we're ecstatic. Like I can't even believe it. Like talking about it makes me feel weird, like in my stomach. It honestly does. But I mean, honestly, if you broke it down, I think I probably do something for the podcast mentally or physically or some production. Like I'm always working on it. Like I have to like remind myself not to fucking work on it.
You're super passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's a second job. I mean,
It is
every day.
100%.
Yeah. So basically, none of this came about by kissing ass. Like you weren't begging people to drag you along. You know, let me ride your coattails. This
No.
was literally
They approached us.
from the ground.
Yeah.
And
They approached us, or it just came up in like a friendship and it was like, hey guys, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Or hey, you know, you guys are doing this. Want to try something?
Right.
Like, you know, that's how it all came about.
That's the one point I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
This wasn't a, coattails thing. This was,
No.
you made your brand and they respected it.
What's funny about it, early on, we had a lot of people that changed a lot for us in the industry. They approached us because of us telling other people to kiss our ass. And not like...
Big names in the industry, people that would come up and say, you know, we really respect what you guys are doing. We wish we could do it, but we just can't. So we like what you guys are doing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, some of the big... like industry changing phone calls came from big marketing guys like Chase Rawson and I mean a ton of other guys that are big in the industry that control the flow or wish they could do things a little differently, where we do an episode and we were like, you know, we don't like this is wrong, fuck them guys, they can kiss our asses, they don't like it, you know, if we say this they don't like it, go find somebody else. And then people heard it and we're kind of like, hey, that's cool, you guys, like, and so that helped us. I always thought it'd probably hurt us more, but it actually has helped us. But yeah, it's just cool, man. Some of the opportunities that have came up, and we're passionate about it. We really care about it. We're hunters first, but we're podcasters second. And I think that's also important, because if you're a podcaster first and you're a hunter second, then people aren't going to believe in your content.
Right. I mean, and you guys are just all big buck killers. You have the team, the WCB team. I mean, there's a lot of things that you've done over the time. And like us being on our 100, a lot of people don't understand the grind that goes into it, the work that goes into it, the effort that goes into it, the time that goes into it. You know, the even the time away from your families. You know, like, dude, it's 9 o'clock in the morning right now.
Well, my kid's in the studio right now.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you go through those struggles and to try and get these things to happen, and people are like, oh, one of the things that like kills me, right? And I get it all the time. Oh, it must be nice.
Oh, we talked about this the other day, Austin. Like,
It's always the guys that are, usually subpar and frustrated, and they see somebody that's successful in whatever field it is, and they always feel the need to cut you down. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bother me.
Do you get a lot of that, like with being the Lord and killing a ton of bucks? Like, does that happen a lot? Like, people are like, "Oh, it must be nice. You have nice."
There's always the must be nice guys out there, and it doesn't bother me. Like I said, I don't see a Mark Drury sitting next to me saying, "Man, must be nice." Like, that guy recognizes the hustle. He knows what it takes to be where I'm at, and everybody in this room. I don't concern myself with the must be nice guys.
And one of the things
I love that about you, Austin, by the way, because sometimes we'll see a comment like, "Man, fuck these guys." And you're like, dude, they're nobodies.
Right.
Like, go to their page, they don't even have a profile picture. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So it's
don't take it to heart. Who gives a fuck?
But it's weird when you're like in media and then all of a sudden people start shitting on you and you're like, I didn't do anything to you.
Right.
But you almost need to keep your head down and just keep grinding.
Oh, yeah.
You just like,
you have
to.
to.
It is what it is. I mean,
you don't let it slow you down.
No, you just kind of laugh at it and you're like, and I say this all the time, man, y'all can do this. Anybody can do what we do.
Right.
It's just you want to put in the time and the effort. You want to stay away from your family. Right. Anybody can go and kill big bucks, but it's just what you're going to put into it to get there, right?
Exactly.
I mean, like, are you going to go and lease a good farm? Are you going to put in the work? Are you going to, to go catch big fish? Are you going to put in the time, the money, the effort? I mean, there's a lot of shit that we put aside to do these things. I mean, it's not, it just doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're 16 hours away from home. We left everybody to come do this because we want to. You know what I'm saying? Give it up.
Passionate. You got to be passionate.
And that's a big part of it, though, is you can't, I mean, you can, but you really can't do this to this level on your own. I mean, you need that dynamic like you guys have. You've got
the crew.
Him over here keeping you grounded when you get worked up. I do the same thing for Trev. He'll call me spun out of his head. And I'm like, dude, just chill. What does it matter? What does it change? Who cares?
Yeah, and also, we touched on this when we record. You guys were on our show. Like, your peers in the industry, having good peers in the industry also helps too. Because, I mean, from every angle, from that to just helping each other grow, it's important. Especially when you find the right people that you want to work with.
I think one of the biggest things that keeps me moving on, honestly, is the supporters of the podcast. I mean, 100. Like, I owe my life to those guys. Like, 100%. Like, it'll be the middle of the night and they'll text you and they'll be like, bro, what you did was one of the coolest things, or what you said was one of the coolest things. And that keeps driving me to go to that next level. Like, I want to do it for them.
Isn't it weird though at first? I still find it weird.
It trips me out. I'm not gonna lie.
Every time we get a message, someone's like, "Hey, dude, good podcast," or like, "Hey, this joke was funny," or someone makes like a meme from the podcast as a joke. Like, that makes me laugh so much because it's cool to have those people involved. You know what I mean? And then the fact that like they took the time to listen to you and then took time to write a message to you about it, you're like, man, I do my best to respond to everybody I can, but it's like a full-time gig.
We've got a pretty loyal, hardcore following, too. It's cool to see the guys that have kind of followed us along through this journey in the last 5 years. A lot of the same guys that started with us are still there supporting us. It's pretty cool.
Unbelievably thankful for that.
It's like going to the shoot. Everybody that comes, it's just the most surreal thing ever, honestly. Like, being an outsider looking in. And you go there, and some of the people, I mean, like Judd, and I mean, there's a million ones. I mean, names, right? And then they're constantly there every single year. They're the most friendliest people in the world, and
it's like one big family.
It's incredible. It's incredible what the podcast brings. The podcast family is just insane.
Well, here's the thing:
super thankful.
Where else can you do, like in the shoot in general? Where can you take that many competitive people, throw them together, and not hear a single negative remark?
Exactly.
Dude, honestly, I thought that too after this last year's shoot. I was talking to Eric after. I'm like, that was the perfect day.
It was.
Like, you get that many good people together, and it's just a perfect day. You know what I mean? Everybody has the same interests. Everybody kind of knows each other either through the internet, through the podcast, just interacting with each other or whatever. And
all these competitive guys are all standing there shooting these long range targets,
laughing,
and
talking shit.
And we weren't talking shit until Curt started it, and then everybody started it.
That's the best part of the whole shoot.
I like, so at the end when we start giving away big prizes for arrows, I like to spice it up, but because otherwise everyone's just quiet, watch this guy shoot. Well, I don't want that. Like, that's fun, but I want to spice it up.
It's like
put the
working
pressure on.
It's like working in a factory. You got to have that thick skin. You know?
Yeah, I'll just start. I get the mic or the megaphone thing out, and I'll just start talking shit about the person shooting. Like, I'm being friendly, but I'm trying to encourage.
everybody else to
do it as a joke. You know, don't hurt the guy's feelings. But then,
Unless you know him really well.
yeah, don't bring out the deep digs on him in front of 100 people.
Brought to you by taller socks. I love that one.
Yeah, one of
Dude
the
has shorts on and big white tall socks.
with like knee socks on.
Long socks and flip flops.
Keeps the mosquitoes away.
I forgot about that one. This era brought to you by taller socks.
But that's the fun of it, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's always smiling, always having a good time when it's all the guys that are around you. I mean, it's incredible the vibe that you guys bring and the things that you guys have built over the 5 years. I mean, it's just, you know, watching, you know, some of the guys in the team, or even, you know, some of the pages, like you're saying, the memes and all the other stuff. It's just incredible what you guys have all done in this time. And then,
thanks, man.
You know, to then work with Mark Drury. I mean, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible to watch you guys evolve from the beginning. You know,
Appreciate that.
It really is. I mean, how does it get any better than that?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Honestly.
I like to think that as long as in anything that you do, as long as you don't live off of grass is always greener on the other side, but always always have a goal. You got to have goals and whatever you do, no matter what. So keep pushing and
having fun.
What's the next step? So just keep moving forward.
Go over that next rage.
As soon as you get comfortable, that's when everything just kind of mellows out. But
Yeah, you got to be nervous a little bit. You got to be a little scared all the time. Yeah.
You've been saying that forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
It is. No, absolutely.
I mean, it is, but we record a lot. So it's like, you know, I mean, that's honestly, I love recording podcasts. You know, it's fun. And we have good people on the crew. Like, we're thankful for that. You know, like we all mesh well. Our personalities all vibe very well. You know, it's like Eric's super calm and chill, and so is Doug. Ross and I are probably the more wiry guys of the crew. Austin's real chill. But like, if two dudes are gonna get worked up over a situation, it's me and Ross.
yeah.
Me and
I
Doug
get
are just
wound
like,
up.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But you kind of need that though, because if we were all like Eric and Austin and Doug, I mean, it'd be kind of mellow at times. You know,
Listen to one episode, you're like, that was cool, but I'm going to move on. But we keep it spicy with the dynamic that we have.
Oh, yeah.
like, you know, you can bring up a topic and me and Ross will get spiced up about it and let you know exactly what the fuck we're thinking. And you guys do too. But I think we're probably a little more direct.
I hate to leave something unsaid
Yeah.
when I've got an opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's fun though, right?
It is fun.
Because that's why guys listening to some of these other guys that have strong opinions, like you might disagree with it, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
You know? Like I think it's good. You need that.
Do you think that plays into your whitetail world and hunting whitetails? Like how you go to attack on a whitetail?
Yeah and no. Yeah, I'd say yes and no. Like I feel like
I get torn both ways, I guess.
Me too.
If I want to like dive in there and just go right after it, but then I'm laying back being conservative and quiet. Like, oh shit.
See, that's
I don't want to get too
It's
close.
kind of backwards for Ross and I feel like you're more outspoken and probably a little more aggressive than I am in person. But when it comes to whitetail hunting, you hang back and wait for that December time frame. And I'm like, 1st November, man, I'm diving into the heart of it. I'm getting after it. I see it
right
big when
to
I'm
the
going
jugular.
after him.
He does too. He does. And I actually have to feed off of that. And he's got me basically talked into making some of those bold moves, and it's worked out for me.
Well, that's what I was saying.
I got to go to Austin to listen to hunting tactics.
Well, we'll back off, but we'll hit the calm guys up because I mean my brain might get ahead of myself a little bit, and I might make a dumb decision. I'll run it by the jury of the calm guys. I don't know what the fuck I was doing there, but basically just be like, "What would you guys do?"
Right.
It's like, "Ah, man, yeah, it's a good move," or "Hey, have you thought about this?" Like, yeah, I'm getting rammy sometimes, or not rammy enough.
And that's what's cool about this dynamic between all of us here is like, if we want to make a game plan, we'll all run it by each other and be like, is this a good game plan? And then
Yeah.
Austin or Curt or Ross or Doug will come and be like, well, I would do it this way.
Yep.
Just something you probably didn't think of.
Give you
know?
something else to think about.
Have you thought
Right.
of this?
Right.
Pretty much.
I think that must be like the good thing about having a group like that of a bunch of guys. So it's not like, so me and Steven, I can ask Steven what's up and be like, hey, dude, what do you think about this? But it's only one. So
Yeah.
like, is his opinion the best or is mine the best? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so to have a group of guys, it's probably a good thing, right?
And this is a
yeah.
big group of guys, and we do have a really good dynamic. But and the group seems to expand, and we keep getting getting to know more people, and then you'll get a weed in there. You got to get
That's
weeded
what
out.
life in general.
Yeah.
They need plucked occasionally.
Yeah. Every now
So
and
then
again.
that's out of the way, and then you're back to we're getting a big group. So
What do you think that the pros and cons of having a big podcast group? Because like you guys are like one of the only ones in the hunting realm that have a group that's big to podcast with. Like, do you think that is there pros and cons to it?
Yeah, I think for us the pros are one, like we talked about, we have the dynamic, you know, and it's not always all 5 of us on the crew. Like we always say we have the main 3, and then we have like the bonus points, which are Austin and Ross, you know, and which is great. Like this is a working class team, all 5 of us. I think that's good, and I think like if Eric's got something with family or somebody else has got something with family, we can fresh up. Like our co-hosts can change, but they're familiar, and then. You know, it might just be me and Eric on an interview with someone. The other day, it was just me and Doug on an interview with Mark Drury. It might just be me and Austin and whoever. Or if I'm on a hunt, these guys can hold the fort down and do whatever. And I think that keeps it fresh. And we always have like hunting content because one of us is always getting after it. Like we're all passionate. Like we're all hardcore hunters. The cons, maybe if you're not familiar with the podcast, it might look muddy, but whatever, just listen to an episode and then you figure it out. But I think we pull it off, and I'm not saying another crew couldn't pull it off, but I feel like the way our show has been set up from the beginning, that we have a very malleable platform to where we can kind of make that dynamic work, which I think if someone, like I think if you guys added 3 more dudes to your crew, it'd be weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right away.
Right, of course.
You can make it work probably,
Right.
but like right away it might be like, whoa, what's going on?
Well, we kind of set it up from the beginning with we had 3 guys from the beginning. We had 4 guys
Yeah.
from the beginning, so it's always kind of been that dynamic of more just not one basic host. You know, we always had the 4 people. So I think from the beginning that's just, and then we just followed with it all the way through.
So then people can follow along right from the beginning with having that many people in the room.
But that too, I mean, if you look at just some of the, like, you know, hunting content, of course, is like the king. That's what people are tuning in for originally. But we have a camp of, our crew is like a hunting camp, and it has been since day one. So you get the jokes. You get the Duck Guy Doug jokes. You get the, I mean, even when Steve was around, just the random fucking jokes, us making fun of Steve. Or like Doug will do something, we'll talk about his mustache, Doug's mustache predictions. Or let's piss Ross off about a topic. Lord Chandler right there in itself. Like, you know what I mean? And Eric's like little sayings, go piss up a rope and shit like that he adds into it. Like that comes with it. And that might not seem as important when you write it down on paper as like, this is our podcast, Working Class Bowhunter. We got piss up a rope, we got a mustache, we got memes.
make sure you say that. Oh yeah, say that.
Because on paper, that's has nothing to do with the hunting podcast.
Right.
But kind of,
That's what makes it.
it's what makes the content a little better because one, I think it makes it comfortable, and there's people that flat out fucking hate our show. I get it, whatever. But for us, it's more fun with our dynamic.
That's awesome.
Well, and most times when we say that dumb shit, we don't even know we're saying it. It's the fans that come out and be like, that was fucking hilarious. I'm like, I don't remember saying
And
it.
they're listeners that haven't just jumped on out of nowhere, and they feel like they're missing whatever. So where did this piss up a rope thing or Doug's mustache or whatever,
Doug.
Lord Chandler, and where'd that come from? Like, well, we're 470 deep, so maybe I need to go back and listen a little bit. So even the newcomers just want to feed back and listen to what's going on versus, and then you get the other guys that have been there from the beginning, and every time something like that slips in, it's like, oh shit, you know, it's that's just how they roll.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it. I want real quick, and then I'll let you host your own show here.
That's all good, man. I love it.
A comment.
This is a bullshit section for 101 for 100, so it's fine.
A comment we had. We posted about we're gonna have the Spy Point pickup truck here, and we posted the video, and everybody has their own, like, trail cams, broadheads, bows are all opinionated products. Someone's like, not a fan of those trail cams, but I love the show until you guys get canceled. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious because we say whatever we want, you know. He's kidding,
Right, of course.
you know. And I'm like, that's our people. Like, that's fucking funny.
It's just funny because everyone's getting canceled right now.
I interrupted you, Austin.
No, it's relatable for guys that hunt. They sit around and bullshit with their buddies. They do the same thing we're doing, and I think that's why it's popular with people. They, you know, every guy's got their token phrase or move or whatever it is, and in your group of buddies, it's that way. And we're not. I mean, it's pretty much we're just buddies sitting around bullshitting about hunting is what we're doing. We just have a microphone in front of us, so it's relatable for people.
Do you think that you guys being that way with like cussing and so on and so forth has kind of hindered you from some things?
I think our downloads could be higher.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
we
don't give a
can't
shit about
be real.
So, I'll explain this to you why I asked this question, right? So we've kind of tossed around the idea because I'm a sailor, right? And I swear, like, there's no
cuss
tomorrow.
like a sailor?
I do. I'm bad, and I really am. And I try
He's
to
the definition of it.
I try and tone it down, right? Because obviously sometimes it's too much. And you look at you guys and how much you guys grown, and I just was wondering if that you think that had stopped you a little bit. So we've kind of toned it back and kind of gone kind of more a little bit less.
Now, when you see negative reviews on our show, that's what it's about.
Yep.
Our cussing. I tried to listen when my kids were in the car. I'm not into it. I don't like these guys. I see other things. I'd listen to them, but I heard they cuss, so I'm not even going to try it. Like, for some reason, that is all. That's the one thing that'll keep people from listening.
But are you really raising your kids right if you don't hear cussing?
I mean, it's not realistic.
Right. That's life, right? And I'm not saying it in a negative intonation. I'm just saying.
My outlook on things is, and this is that strong opinion thing, I think if someone uses swear words openly, they're honest.
Yep.
It's more. I take that information and better if somebody's talking to me like they would on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an emphasis or an exclamation point on something, whatever they're passionate about, what they're talking about. I don't know. I mean, when I'm talking, and it's got to flow. I guess if you're saying you got to cut it back on your show, it's got to flow. You can't just be like one of them awkward cussers. It's like
Well,
you're just
we're like
dropping
every other word.
Yeah,
is
you've
F.
got to eloquently add it into the
there you go.
conversation. You know, it's got to have that right usage.
Yeah,
You can't
don't be a fuckhead about it.
You can't use the F word as an adverb, a noun, a pronoun, an adjective, all in one sentence.
But that's also, like, I think a big appeal to this series that we're going to do with Drury is, like, that's going to be clean because, one, Drury is that way, but we can still bring that vibe without dropping F-bombs and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And if we do, we'll probably just bleep it out.
And I think the bleeps are hilarious.
Yeah,
Redacted.
it's gonna
So
add
funny.
to it.
Yeah, I think they're funny. Like, if I had the energy to go back and just over every cuss word, I think it'd be
Yeah, but then,
hilarious.
Oh, it's priceless.
for like our show, it'd just be turkey calls the whole episode.
Eric, suck my
Suck my turkey? What's that even mean?
Suck my gobbler. My gobbler.
My drumstick.
this
Steve-
podcast. Blurp sucks. But
Steve, do you want to try the new segment on these boys? You came up with it, so you might as well run it and see what happens. And
I
see.
think
I
we
want to
should.
see,
Is it,
you know,
brand,
because we
is it
kind of
brand new?
So we're going to release this on the 100th, right? And it's something that we wanted to try, and nothing better than doing it in a group of guys like this, especially you guys. We've gone through the whole thing of like how you guys know each other, so on and so forth. So we're going to let Steven take this one.
All right, so I'll kick off the first one. I'll hand it over to Trev and let him throw one out there. So we were contemplating what's something new, something we can do, but it's unique and it only works when you're working with a group of people that know each other, right?
okay, I like this already.
Okay.
So my question is, Curt, how well do you know Eric? Is he a boxers or briefs guy?
Oh, so that's where the question starts?
Oh yeah.
I'm a boxer briefs guy, and I think probably everybody in here is a boxer briefs guy.
Oh yeah.
I wish I had
Boxer
a ding, ding,
briefs.
ding.
All right.
All right,
So we got the
all right.
easy one.
What's up?
All right, so Trev, I'll
So I'll
roll
go-
it to you.
All right, so I'll go Ross and Austin. Ross, how well do you know Austin? Does he like big 8-pointers or do you like non-typicals?
Shit.
I feel like that changes.
Depends on how big the 8 is.
Depends on the,
We're starting
it depends
easy
on
and
the
working our
year.
way up.
Depends on the year. Depends on the deer. I
Depends
guess.
on what's on camera.
Yeah. I mean,
If we were going typical or non-typical, that'd be an easy one to answer for me.
yeah.
Non-typical.
I'm a non-typical
I could tell you that
guy.
one, yeah. That's why I threw the big 8 in there because
Yeah, I like big 8s.
Depends on how big of an 8.
Nice. All right.
So
So
if that was Curt, it'd be big 8s.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
you're the
an
big 8
guy.
man.
He's a
I was-
big 8
yeah.
guy.
I love my big 8s, but I'm ready for new and exciting things, you know?
Drop tines and shit.
Until this
Give me
year.
a drop time, give me a good split 2.
Until this
Yeah.
year, it'll be a giant.
Have you gotten a drop time buck yet?
Last year, I count it. It's an inch
Okay.
and like 3/8.
It counts.
So you do count it.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never.
For Ross, it's easy. He doesn't look at them unless they're 200.
Yeah, well, that must be nice.
Shit. No, I missed Austin filmed me shoot and miss a 12-inch drop tine. 3 years ago.
I think he was a big 8 with
He
a
was a
big,
big 8
13,
with a-
12, 13-inch drop hanging
Yep.
off one side.
Like, that was like my life's goal to kill a drop tine deer, and it was a megalodon of a drop, and I
Just a
fucked it up.
But in your defense, it was late season. That deer was sketched to the max,
Yes.
and he got by our shooting window, and we're both like at the same time in a redneck blind, and he's just like
They just,
went
like,
out to
mega
about
horned
70
him.
and stood there, and Ross didn't have time to dial the sight. And just,
No, I just switched over to HHA single pin, and I wasn't used to it, and
In
not
that-
saying that was the whole
trust
thing.
you
in that
quit.
Responsible.
scenario, there aren't many guys that would have exexecuted that shot and made
That was
it.
a
I mean,
tough one.
that was a tough one.
I held
but it was
her
a
over.
heartbreaker because that deer was 30 yards right under us.
I never.
I like this segment though. I like the idea that. Is there more? I want to do more.
No,
Oh.
you want to do more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go Ross. How well do you know Curt? If he could only shoot 3 does for meat or a 125-inch buck, which one would he go?
3 does.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. He does.
All right.
3 does all day.
Fair enough.
That's 100% correct.
All right.
You're way better at this. Keep going. I fail.
It's a fun segment. I hope there's a jingle.
Are you guys just making this shit up off your top of your
Yeah,
head? or
this
do you-
literally off the
Yeah,
top
oh
of
yeah,
my
just
head.
the top of our head. We
Hey,
just,
if you raise that question to from 125 to 165,
Oh, no. See, if I said that, I knew it'd go
we
the
already
other way.
knew what that would be.
145.
Yeah.
That's getting to that
yeah,
line.
you're getting in the danger zone there. Let's switch over.
Okay, I
Danger
gotcha.
zone.
All right. So I'll go full room. What kind of mustache cream does Doug use?
I don't think he uses anything.
He doesn't his own saliva.
It's this morning's
oil?
breakfast.
It's a combination of Leinenkugel and Busch Light.
It's called juice.
Turkey juice.
gobbler juice.
Gobbler juice.
I had to bring Dougie into the show a little bit at some
If you ever
point.
spend time with him, he's always like,
You're licking away.
We've been trying to get him to dye it black, like jet black.
which he used to do. He said he denies it, but I
Old
actually
Tom
watched him.
Selleck.
I
Bring it on
watched
the old
him.
Tom
All the
Selleck.
secrets are coming out.
I watched him just for men. That bitch one day just sitting there.
Dude,
Keeping it red for the ladies, huh?
he
Yep.
needs to dye it black before season because I think that'll bring good luck.
Yeah,
I was going
That's a
back to
bold
that.
statement.
How accurate has the mustache been?
terrible.
So no, you got to give him some credit here.
He's got a couple.
So it started really accurate.
The beginning was accurate. Yeah,
And then what happened
the first
was-
year was pretty on point.
It was pretty on point. Like
He was
fairly-
predicting who was going to kill when,
Yeah, fairly magical.
and it was close.
And then what happened was kind of like one of those. He could like at that moment in time when Doug was at his peak performance, he could open one of those like Terra palm card reader,
Miss Cleo.
voices, Miss Cleo, you know. But the thing is, like everyone was coming to Doug for predictions. Well, then you get some bad hunters in there that aren't going to kill shit anyway, and then you get just too many, and it came in volume.
You
Threw his
rub-
mustache off.
Yeah, you rubbed that genie in the bottle too many times.
Yeah, just it wore the coating off the outside. So we've been trying to get him to shave it and regrow it, dye it, burn it off,
Burn it off like a
round up,
CRP
Oh
field.
yeah,
Yeah.
burn it. Yep.
Great
Burn it.
idea.
controlled burn, something to kind of refresh it and bring back the magic. I think dyeing it would be sufficient. So
I don't think he's getting rid of it.
Well,
And regrowing.
and on that point, so since he ain't gonna cut it, he ain't gonna kill it, he ain't gonna get rid of it, have him re-dye it, lower the standard so it's just the core group. But for every time he's more than 2 weeks off, he has to dye like a white line.
Oh yeah,
All the way
Yeah,
across.
Chopper
lines.
stripe. The nude stash. I
Yeah.
like it.
So if it's wrong, you got to punish it.
hash marks.
Yeah.
I actually have one of Doug's mustache predictions right here, wrapped up and sealed till the end of season. This is for Greg from Drury. Doug made a prediction on the show, and we wrapped it with paper and taped it up, and so that's it. And
Who's the prediction for?
Greg,
For Greg.
Yeah, Greg Glessinger.
Wow.
so
Damn.
All right.
can't open that
Kind of
until
forgot
later.
about that one.
Yeah,
Well, you're going to have to make him dye that thing soon. The predictions are already on the table.
It's that time of year.
Or maybe with the predictions, like 2 weeks off, we just shave a little off each time. So just
Actually, I think it was during that Greg podcast
could
that
be
he
fun.
might have made some predictions for the table. So we'll see how close
I think
he is.
I think he wrote down something for all of us in there, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Or was it- I don't remember either.
if he wrote them down or not.
Too many old fashions.
I'm an
See,
idiot.
but then you got to come back with a positive. So when he is accurate, you know, you need to get him like a little metal mustache brand and have him hit it with the lighter, and he can hit it on a spot here at the table for every time he's
This table's
accurate.
too nice for that.
I mean, you did have to take.
Why don't we
alone
just
now.
brand him with it? We'll just
Now you're onto something.
We'll give him a sign here in the back on the brick wall. It's like the gold stars,
Yeah.
and he gets to put a gold star on it.
Gold mustache.
like you're in kindergarten. again.
2019 Ross mustache.
Yeah, the little gold mustache stickers. Just
Now, Curt, you called it last year. I think between Ross and I, you were only a couple days off on a couple of those kills. You had to come in
Yeah.
and show Dougie how to do it.
I did. I remember that now. I forgot until you said that.
That's right. You were the one that
I
nailed
took
that.
charge, and I don't know. Maybe sitting close to him at the table, you know, maybe it kind of, I don't have a mustache like that, but maybe it filtered in, you know, or I just harnessed some of the power, and that's the issue.
Maybe just floated over to you.
one of his whisker hairs floated over and got stuck in yours.
Just regrew.
It's like some Space Jam shit.
Did you guys swap?
Transplanted it.
Yeah, I was going to say, was there some swapping going on in there?
I've seen where Doug's been. I don't let him get close to me.
You need some old bait for that beard.
Good God.
So, I'm sorry, this is your 100th episode.
No, this is the greatest thing ever. This is awesome. I don't
weird.
think that we even talked about what we're actually into after the podcast. So like it's like the big rodeo.
Yeah.
So what happens in the big rodeo? When I think of rodeo, I think of that we're going to grease down a pig and the thing's going to go around town and we're all going to try and catch it. I mean, when I think of rodeo, that's what I think about.
Trevor's never seen a full rodeo.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what
So-
it is.
They don't have that where I come from.
God, we got to play some Garth Brooks for you, man.
Some Chris Gaines.
It's Chris Gaines. I'm talking Chris Gaines. Let's go Chris Gaines.
That's this kind of rodeo.
That's what I'm
Hashtag
talking
fuck
about.
Chris Gaines.
Did you bring the mascara for Chris Gaines?
This isn't. I can't disrespect New Windsor and call it a Chris Gaines rodeo.
Okay.
But, so New Windsor, Illinois, which is where we're at, is known for the rodeo. It's like the world's biggest little rodeo. And I went when I was a little kid. I was out of town the first year we lived in New Windsor. We just bought the studio this year. Last year they didn't have it because of COVID. So this is our first year. We have our studios on Main, which is where the big parade is coming. So we're gonna have to do the whole parade thing and sponsor the rodeo next year. But literally walking distance out the back of the studio. This afternoon they're having like the kiddie parade, which is from the school to the rodeo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I think like 6 or 7 tonight they actually start the rodeo. I mean, it's a legit rodeo. And then there's like a little like carnival fair thing there too, and all sorts of fun stuff you could do.
I've never been to it either. So
I tried to explain to everybody that it is a sanctioned IPRA rodeo, but most people on the East Coast won't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I don't know what that is either.
It's kind of a
did you
big
guys
deal.
know that Steven is actually a fucking cowboy?
I heard rumblings.
You riding tonight?
Oh, hey, hell no.
His wife told
That's a
me
young
that.
man's game.
His wife told me that I'm not allowed to let him ride, and he's not allowed to go home with any buckle bunnies.
Oh boy.
We'll get a few
Did you
old
look up the
fashions in
rodeo?
him. We'll
That's
get
legit.
him.
No, it's legit. You're going to have professionals out here working on their points for the cards, trying to get to Vegas in December. And
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Because-
this is legit.
If you look online, it's badass. Like we'll have to get there early and get up in the stands and watch because it's going to be pretty damn cool.
There's a real good chance on this show that you're going to see some guys that are compete in the national finals.
Yep.
Really.
This is where they come to get their points and build up for the year to get there.
See, I love that, man. Like I love like where our studio is, and like New Windsor's such a good like little community, and like everyone that I've ran into from New Windsor has been awesome to us and like welcomed us here and everything. So I'm excited to like get more involved with the rodeo weekend and everything next year. It'll be a lot of fun. Like we'll do the parade and stuff and do some cool ideas. And
I've been going to the rodeo. What I did when I was younger a lot, but yes, I've been out here, but I've been in different arenas and different things inside, like indoor arena rodeos and things, and rode sheep when I was little.
I was gonna say, are you an undercover cowboy?
You know,
undercover.
but we used to go when I was young, and that's what I rode 3 or 4 different times. You know, on 8 seconds when he waves up in the crowd with both hands. When they introduced me on the last time I rode, I think I was 6. I waved at the whole crowd when they introduced me with both hands, like Wayne Frost.
Yep.
awesome.
No shit.
That's every kid's dream growing up in the country. Like you see that show when you're 5 or 6, and it's like, I want to be a bull rider.
Yep.
We got undercover cowboy to the right, and we got the catfish to the left over here. Things are going good.
I've been around the block.
It starts the day
Lord
off
the
at 10s and
catfish.
ends up at 2s.
Yeah,
He likes them whiskers.
it's reckless.
I do got a serious question, and it's probably something that a lot of people want to hear back home. We'll go around table kind of with you boys. What's your favorite day to be in the woods, no matter what? It's one day you'll never miss, no matter what.
Here in the Midwest.
Eric.
Ooh.
Pressure's on.
Can I pick 2?
You can pick 3 if you want.
Well, October 1st, I go no matter what.
And what's the reason for that?
It's opening day.
Okay.
It's opening day, like just that thing where
It's a tradition.
I don't care if it's 90 degrees out or whatever.
You're illegal to be in the woods with a weapon
Exactly. And then
and kill.
November 12th.
Really?
It's one of them days.
So you're a rut guy.
Yep.
How about you, Curt?
I'm kind of like on the October 1st thing and like a low pressure spot just to celebrate, hey, it's opening day. Mm-hmm. But I like any day like I think I could kill a deer.
Any day you can kill a deer. But how do you know that? There's not like you don't have a
Changes.
certain day. You don't have like
You don't have
November
a
1st
superstitious
or
date.
like a
I used to,
okay.
but now I've like killed enough deer that it's like that's not sticking to that.
It can happen on
Yeah, but
any day.
there's like one favorite day.
It used
that
to be like
strikes up.
the 11th and 12th area, but now it just seems like I feel like I'm more
All
in
of 'em.
tune with it, where it's just like, well, whatever day I need to make it happen. Like this past season, it was mid-October,
So what do you look for in those days?
deer in daylight.
Deer on picture, on camera.
Deer and daylight.
That or sightings, like, if I'm like, man, that deer did that, he might do it again, and then I'm making a move, and
You're not looking at pressure systems or nothing like that.
I'm
to
looking
try
at
and-
all that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, all that plays in. Like, it's like a super generic answer. Like
Right.
if you, I like late October into November because the
Okay.
rut's fun.
Yep.
So you're a pre-rut kind of guy.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's fun if you can get on a deer. But like last year, kind of changed my thinking a little bit because October was so insane, and then November sucked.
That's because it was like
was hot.
30 degrees in the first week in
Yeah,
October.
and then it got hot in
it
November.
got hot in November.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
It flip flopped. The months switched places.
Yep.
How about 200-inch Ross? What's your favorite day?
Obviously, October 1, I'd like to be out in the woods. I'd love to just get out there and shoot a doe just to say, get that first one out of the way, whatever. Just,
Knock the dust off.
but I haven't since 2012. 2012 when Austin and I started filming together for the first time. We were buddies before that, but we actually got in the tree together in 2012, and we saw three deer, 160 to 200. There was a 165, there was a 203, and there was a 207. All hit the field in the first 5 days of October, and I said, I ain't shooting no more does. Like October 1 through 5, depending on the weather, you could still come off of your summer pattern, and they were feeding between corn and beans. And fortunately, at that point, the corn had been picked, but the beans hadn't, and they were kind of feeding in the standing beans. And if you get that little scenario where you're between two different food sources early on, like October 1 through 5, I mean, you can get on those big bucks. I mean, they're hitting those fields.
So you like
So-
them early.
I mean, that early is
can.
good. If you can and you got one located, I mean, I love that early stuff.
Because they're kind
But
of
then-
like stupid. They don't
Yeah.
really know what's going
But
on.
I would
don't-
also pace that late season vibe to you though.
Yeah.
Like I
So
have for a
then
long
I was
time.
mine's a little longer answer, I guess. So started out with that, and then I lay off and I won't even mess with it until, I don't know, end of October. 30th of October is a day. Everybody says Halloween. I've never had a damn bit of luck on Halloween.
I've missed
October
on
30th,
Halloween.
I missed on
I've
Halloween.
had 4 different huge deer encounters, killed one on October 30th. But big deer, I usually have those encounters on October 30th.
They
But,
turn right then. and there.
October 30th was one of my days last year.
and then the next date that I would say is November 7th. That's my favorite day.
That's my
That's
day.
my day.
I'm
Yep.
superstitious though. 7's my lucky number. So November 7th, if I had to pick one day that I could hunt every year, it'd be November 7th. But specifically for my trophy room, I bet you could take a third or maybe even half of my deer fall in between the 1st and the 7th of November. That's just my hot week.
Yep.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and November 13th's a hot one. It's not a hot one for me, but it's like a nostalgic one. It's when I killed my first buck was on a Friday, November 13th, and my son was born on Friday, November 13th. So that's kind of a special day for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I'm a pre-rut guy. Definitely a pre-rut guy because they're kind of more predictable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you get near that doe bedding, you get downwind of it, you hunt it. I mean, 9 times we're down hunting where we hunt public land, and we're there from the last week in October to the first week in November. And I mean, we got to make it happen, right? Now, that pre-rut, man, getting them things coming in and coming downwind and just kind of moving around and trying to find it. That's my favorite, anyways.
Yeah.
They are
Because they seem to be
predictable.
more predictable, right?
Predictable. And then they are once you get into late season.
Right.
So
'Cause they
I
gotta go to
count
food, right?
I count like November 20, like Thanksgiving on. You get a second little wave of a rut at the end of November, December, and then after that, I mean, they're pretty predictable.
I feel like though, if the pre-rut sucks, it's like the worst.
But it's a bad
agreed.
pre-rut.
It's a bad pre-rut. You're just like,
It sucks the life out of you.
You just drag it
because
down.
you're
expecting one thing.
your expectations are so high, and when it works out, you're just like,
I've done that
that's what
one
I
one
thought.
time. Just put all kinds of effort in, and I logged my hours, and I had 76 hours in a deer stand before November 1st. and I burnt myself out, and I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
Ever.
I do that with shed hunting a lot. I'm big with that on shed hunting because you get so excited. You see a couple of deer that don't have an antler and you're like, I'm in there, right? And you're on it. And then
100 miles in, you haven't picked anything up.
or you picked up one or two and you're like, what in the world is this? This sucks. And then then the shed season actually comes and they're all on the ground and you're like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
Screw this. This is stupid.
I'm the same
You know?
way, man. I'll walk, but this is the last goddamn time I'm walking for sheds this year.
Well, Trev got smart. He said, I'm going to just get a dog.
That is smart.
That is smart.
It's fun. It's different, right? I mean, but you have to have that passion for it, like the antlers. Like you guys are killing big bucks. For me, I living up in the East, it's tough. You know, like killing a big buck up there is tough. So to have a dog and be able to do those things, it puts things in perspective for you because you can get on them antlers. You know, I'm a horrible shed hunter. Horrible. I mean, I find sheds, you know, we'll find like 10, 15 sheds, but when you have a dog, it puts a whole different perspective. Now you're working a dog. You can watch the dog. The dog does all the work. And I now having a dog for 1 year, it just made me even worse of a shed hunter because I don't even care. I just watch the dog. You know what I'm saying? Honestly,
Yeah, looking for antlers.
But honestly, dude, there's lots of deer that I've killed in the past that I didn't really have any sheds for. I might have had one shed, maybe, if you want to break him down and call him a 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You know
harder
what I mean?
to find the sheds and to kill the deer.
There's these great
so?
big ass deer.
Agreed.
There's these big ass deer out there, and you end up killing one, and you couldn't find this big ass antler that he had. You had trail cam pictures of him all year. Like, where's this antler at? You should be able to see it from 500 yards away. So I'm with you on the dog thing. Like, did I just trip over the fucking thing and just kept walking, or what?
Like how
yeah,
many?
because
how
only
many
an
do you
inch
think
of it's sticking up.
How many do you think you've walked by in your?
That's the thing.
More
times
than
out
you
there?
think.
Oh,
I've,
yeah.
More than you
stepped on
think.
2 or 3 of them before I've seen them, like under grass from the year before, whatever. It'll flood, the grass will grow up through. You literally step on it or kick it and then look down and find it.
Yeah.
It's like you feel like you stepped on that goofy twig,
Yep.
but it's not
It didn't
quite
crack.
right.
You're like, oh, that was not a stick.
That's something I learned from Dana Pace, or heard Dana Pace say, is like it's harder to find sheds than it is to kill the deer. And I'm like, that's so true, because if I had sheds from all the deer I killed, I'd have a pile of really nice sheds.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have some okay sheds.
How many do you think Dana's walked by?
Oh,
0.
I don't think he walks by any. He is
valid
a shed
point.
dog.
0.
He had one, so this is what he told me a while back, that he gave his dog in training too big of a shed and it like fell on it and then got scared of him.
A lot of the times when you're training with dogs, and one of the things that I kind of learned going through it, and I was self-taught on it, right? Because I was stubborn. I'm like, how hard could it be? I'd raised bird dogs my whole life. Like, how hard could it really be to train a shed dog? And one of the things I did kind of read was that when you give a dog a big shed with big antlers, they'll like poke themselves in the mouth, or they'll poke themselves in the eye or whatever, and what happens, they go through the teething stage.
Yep.
When they're in the teething stage, that's one of the worst, because they bite something hard and it hurts their mouth, and then they just turn off of it, and then you can really ruin a dog.
Kind of like shooting a dog, shooting a gun over the top of a dog.
Oh yeah,
Too young.
too young to get them gun
and then
shy.
you scare them.
Yep.
I had it turned the other way, so I got a bird dog, and she used to bird hunt with me a ton, and then thunder, lightning, and 4th of July came. Now she's afraid, but she never was. She was never gun shy before, so it had turned in an opposite
Well, there was
direction.
no bird at the end of it.
Right.
There was no.
I don't know how she'd be bird hunting.
celebration.
Interesting.
Yeah, is there like a specific recipe for training? I'm sure there is for training a dog, but of course personality kicks in
Right.
over the top of it, like a gun. You shoot a gun and you get them gun shy. Like what?
Well,
Fixing
you want to be
them
so
is-
old? You want to be this? You have all this stuff spelled out. I don't know anything about it.
I'm fairly new to it as well, but getting to play around, helping a buddy get his bird dog trained up and ready to go this year, young Brittany, and we took her out pretty early, and we'd hold her back, 200 yards. We'd shoot a 20 gauge.
Yep.
And so we'd go out and shoot chucker. We'd shoot, and then we'd bring her up and let her send out the bird.
Okay.
And then as she gets the bird, you reward her.
Yep.
And then we take her back and do it again. So every time she'd hear the shot, she'd start associating a shot with I gotta go find a bird.
And then you
I
get
a treat.
closer, and then you get her closer, and then
To the point where it's like, okay, I'm going to sit here until I hear that shot because I know I'm getting something good.
yep.
Okay, they work for that reward. They don't care about the bird. They don't care about the shot. They're working for that reward.
Yep.
So
It's interesting.
That's awesome.
And that's when I get my pups. My pups start at 8 weeks old with sound. So when my dogs come in the house, They start getting fed at 8 weeks. We start banging pots and pans, making all kinds of noise. We start with yelling and stuff like that. Just started slowly working them up to get that noise where they know that loud noise. They're feeding and they're just so used to it. And then you just start to bring that noise louder and louder and louder, closer and closer to them as they're feeding. Then I start bringing them around people, shooting skeet and stuff, leave them in the truck. Shoot skeet and stuff around them. Then you start bringing them around the birds, shooting long distance like Steven's saying, and then start working them right into it. And then they start to gradually, because when you get a gun-shy dog, man, I'll tell you, it's one of the worst things.
There's nothing you can do.
No. I had a pup recently that we had to put down. She ended up getting sick, but we would bring into the field. She was fine. Everything that we gone through in the training, she was good. We'd hunt with her. We shoot over her back. She was gun shy. She would literally run back to the truck.
Yep.
And it's then that dog becomes a pet. Then now you got to find another. They want to do something. They always constantly want to do something, but
They always need a job.
We just had to put our lab down 2 or 3 months ago. We had her 11 years. That sucked.
That's tough,
But
man.
I can't do dogs, man.
She's a family.
For that reason?
She's part of the
heartbreaking,
family.
Yeah.
And we, no kidding, I didn't think that I got her gun shy too early, but she was okay when she was younger as a pup. But the older she got, I would walk I'd see like I'd see a raccoon walking across the driveway, and I'm going to go grab my 17 and shoot it. And I'd open the gun cabinet, and she'd just lower her ears and her tail and just
She knew.
hide over in the corner and like, oh shit, he's bringing the bang stick out.
Yeah.
So,
That thing makes loud noises.
Yeah. I don't know. Dogs are cool, man, but not for me right now.
No.
Not for me right now.
You're
Well,
at that point.
You've also got a newborn
Yeah.
and a young kid on top of it.
And I want to be able to leave. You know, not.
You ain't got time to deal with a dog.
I don't feel like driving my lawn like shit, like with my lawnmower right over poop in the yard.
Oh,
that
come
is
on.
frustrating.
That's a tough
Or
thing.
you smash it with your tire and then you smell it for the next 45 minutes.
Dude, when I lived in Sherrard,
Yes.
have you guys ever worn Vans and then stepped in dog shit?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Been there.
Yeah, good luck getting dog shit out of those.
Take the hose to it.
I about
Nothing you can do.
slipped in my neighbor's dog shit, and I'm glad that dog wasn't outside. Because it wasn't a cool dog. It was like a little yip yap dog. And I would never normally do this, but I had like the freshest brand new. I get new shoes like every 6 months, maybe, because I wear them out. I'm like, finally, nice shoes. Stepped
Right
in
through
it, just a fresh one, and I'm like, "Where's that goddamn dog?"
That's wild.
That was just me, though.
I did it barefoot one time. That was miserable.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Stepping dog shit.
I think I'd
Yeah.
almost actually rather do it barefoot because it washes off.
washes
really
Clean it
easy.
off pretty easy.
Do you know what my older cousins used to do to me? They used to take firecrackers and cut the wick in half, and then we would stick them in dog shit, and then we'd have to light them
yeah.
and then you'd try and run, and they would blow up in our back and stuff.
That's like
It's miserable.
self-punishment.
But I didn't know no better. They're older cousins, and you'd just be like, "Yeah, whatever, man."
Let me just give
listen
you
to
a
'em.
hammer and hit yourself.
Yeah, it's just you didn't know no better when you were young.
I never did that.
No.
Yeah,
What else do you
that's-
do? I mean, it's
I
like,
know. Maybe that's
We
a
used to have
Connecticut
bottle
thing.
rocket wars. I mean, we'd shoot bottle rockets at each other. But
That's a Connecticut deal.
did you ever piss on like electric fence or anything being a farm boy?
yeah.
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 Hang on to hands, get in a group, and the guy that doesn't know, he's like the new guy.
At the very
Just
end.
barely touch his earlobe.
Light him up.
We always did that. Like when you're crossing an electric fence, we'd be pheasant hunting. And you're like, here, hold my gun
Hold my
for me.
gun.
And then grab on that barrel and just
They
funnier
just
than
don't, they
fun.
don't know.
No,
They knew real quick afterwards though.
because it gets worse as it travels through you. So if you get
It gets worse.
4 guys hanging on to each other,
Yeah, the longer
gets
it goes,
worse
it
as
gets
goes.
last
stronger.
guy.
Oh, jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Funny
Passes
as hell.
on.
Get
The
a
guy
chain
in
of
the
6
end is
guys
just
and
pissing his pants.
Exactly.
So you guys have all kind of evolved from the whitetail hunting and kind of moved on to other things. And you guys are doing some cool things this year. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about that? Kind of like what you guys got going on for the season? Because I know Austin and Ross are kind of planning a really big hunt this year.
I'll go first because mine's not nearly as cool as theirs. I'm going to Wyoming for a mule deer hunt.
Still cool, though.
That is
That's
really
awesome.
cool.
Still cool. Like, I'm stoked about
And you're
it.
going with 2 badass dudes that know the hills.
Yeah, Devin and Clint, we're going out chasing after them and going to do a memorial thing for my old man. I'm hoping to kill one on his birthday, so September 3rd. It'd be cool. It'd just be really cool. And then I'm going to spread his ashes. And
That's amazing.
I told Clint I'd like to build like a memorial thing somewhere. If I do kill one on the mountain, like do something with some rocks.
Out of
and
stone.
Is that what he wanted
Yeah.
to be? Was spread his ashes in Wyoming?
Yeah, I know he wanted to be cremated, but like my dad just wanted to hunt with me and stuff. So I figured every cool hunt I do that's in the mountains, that's like an adventure hunt.
Take a little bit of him with you and dump it at each spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool, dude.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do.
Are you going to do something special? Like, I know Shad did something with his grandfather and put it in the bow. Is there something that you're going to kind of do? Because everybody kind of does one of those things,
I don't know. Nothing like a bow type thing. I thought about doing something with his ashes because I want to be cremated now too. After it was ease the process, because it would have been so much more like traumatic, I guess, if it was like a traditional funeral. So I want to be cremated too, but I might like plant a tree and bury his ashes with the tree or something like that.
A tree's always a good thing.
I've had some
Because otherwise you're just in a box.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have some friends of ours back home that they have like a little vial and it has like his father in it, and he takes it and he hangs it above him in the tree every single hunt that he goes on, or he puts it on his gun. I have another friend of mine that made a bullet with his dad's ashes in it.
That's what I was going to say.
Or they always do something cool. That's why I asked, man,
the
just
vial
something.
things are kind of neat.
Yeah, then he goes on every hunt with you, or you have something, he's always in your backpack, or whatever the case may be, just always be with you,
That's a cool idea.
I never thought of that. I might do something like that. Yeah. Because I had like, when you do the funeral home thing, like they can separate it for you so you don't have to do that. And I'm like, so I'm going to have something like that when I go to the hunt and do that there. So I'm going to spread his ashes regardless, but it'd be cool to do it like if I kill a muley, like wherever we set up camp around the muley, like clean it up and stuff to do it there.
That's amazing.
And then what I wanted to do is everywhere that I spread his ashes, kind of like take the topo map from whatever app I'm using and then make some sort of frame thing that shows like the topo lines.
That would be awesome.
That's amazing.
Well, and it gives you something you can revisit too. You know, next year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, you go back to hunt that spot, you get to revisit it and think about the old man.
Exactly. Yeah. So that it'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I look forward to hearing about that, honestly.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Let's see. We got this moose trip coming up. As far as whitetails goes, before I got some food plots put in with some big tine. I haven't done. We need rain in the worst way. I've been pretty conservative on my cameras this year. So I was conservative last year too. Didn't get a lot of cameras out. I used to put out tons of cameras thinking I could get every deer and figure them all out. But I've found I just lay back and be quiet and strike when the iron's hot. So, but going into this moose trip, I mean, it's like 2.5 weeks away as of right now. So we're awful close. I mean, I'm super excited and super pumped. I'm nervous to be gone from home, but I mean, it's a 2 week deal. So
it's a haul.
Yeah. I mean,
where are you boys headed to go do that?
Alaska. We're getting dropped.
Oh, you're doing a drop trip.
Yep. So it's going to be a blast. We're going to be getting rained on every day. We're going to be soaking wet.
Hopefully not.
But either way,
Expect the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, we've been
You're going on this too?
Yep. Ross and I and my buddy Cody, we're all going to hop on the plane and go up. But we've been planning this thing for almost 2.5, 3 years now.
3 years, man.
Yep. We put our name in the hat a couple seasons ago. We're going with a pretty popular. We're using an outfitter. It's but they're dropping us. So we're using some of their camping gear and then they're dropping us in the wilderness. So,
are you bringing sidearms?
I am. I'm bringing a 10mm Glock. Ross, you're bringing a 45.
I'm bringing a 45. It's a 9-round clip. I got 2 9-round clips, but I'll shoot that
you trust
grizzly
your
8
45?
times, and I'll save the 9th one for me.
Smart man.
You're not going to bring like a 357 or something crazy. You're going to bring a 45.
Something easy to tote. I mean, you splatter paint their forehead with 8 rounds really fast. I mean, I would sure hope that'd slow them down, but
whatever you got to tell yourself, bud. No, just kidding.
We've done a little research on the handgun side of things, and a lot of guys that live up in Alaska, they recommend like a 10mm Glock's a popular round, something you can get a lot of shots in them fast with, versus a massive revolver where you only get 2 shots. You know,
Right.
That's important enough.
when they're coming, dude, they're coming hard.
You're better off to get 5 fast ones than 2 big ones.
I've talked to too many other guys that said you really don't even have to worry about that.
You know what you guys should do? Just do nothing but interview. From now on till you guys leave, we'll just do nothing but podcasts with bear attack victims. That way,
you know what to do.
Playing the Revenant and the Edge in the background. Yeah, I like it.
So you can be prepared,
get your confidence up. You know what I mean?
You can interview me. Just play dead, bro.
Honestly, I don't give a shit about the grizzlies right now. My biggest concern is getting on that little janky ass float plane and floating in there. I'm
I got a
terrified
video.
of flying. I fucking hate it.
Well, hey, if the plane does wreck, the grizzlies are there to clean it
Yeah,
up.
they're gonna get the mess.
Well, you
Hit
just had a
something hard. I
problem.
don't want to limp away from this wreck.
not to scare you or anything, but Steven just went through
A kid I grew up with, real close friend, grew up elk hunting with him. His dad is a really renowned guide out in Arizona. They went out there and did a caribou hunt, him and 3 buddies.
Alaska?
Or in Alaska, thank you. They ended up getting 3 trophies. Beautiful, beautiful Labradors. And on their way flying back in, a plane took off as they were coming into land. Mid-air collision, and we lost all 3.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
shit.
Yeah,
that's a tragedy right
that was
there.
wild. So,
and that was his life goal, was to shoot a
yeah,
Labrador.
literally his life goal was to get that caribou. He got the caribou.
It's a hell of a way to go out.
I said, you know what?
He got it.
He went down with a smile on his face,
Oh yeah, man.
doing what he loved.
That shit happens. It's like the odds of you getting in a plane crash are going to be a lot higher than getting killed by a grizzly up there. So that's what I'm terrified of. But, I mean, that's how they get around up there. They don't have cars where we're flying into, like Bethel. You fly into that and get dropped. They don't have many vehicles there. Like, that's how they get around up there. It's just a different world.
It's the Wild West up there.
Yep.
It's tough.
You guys will be just fine.
Yeah,
Well,
you guys.
yeah, I hope
I didn't
so.
mean to scare you, but I think it's an amazing
Trust
story.
me,
Ease
I've
your
had
mind
3
on the
years to
bears.
think about this. Have fun.
Oh no, I'm right there with him on the plane thing. Gee, Christmas Day.
Hey,
We were-
where were you on that one?
You guys will be
dipshit?
just fine.
Everyone got a little clammy, a little quiet now.
Yeah, no, my palms are sweating right now.
I'm excited, I'm terrified, and I'm freaking jacked at the same time. Like, this hunt is going to be what I've been dreaming about for 20 some years. I mean, and couldn't pick a better group of guys to do it with. Like, we're just going to have a ball. It's
In
gonna
that
be
type of hunt,
insane.
you can never be ready for it.
No.
No.
I mean,
never
we're
be
as
ready.
But
ready
you
as we
just got to
can
be on
be.
your toes and ready to rock. I mean, that's all there is to it.
I think we should circle back when you boys get back and maybe have a little conversation about that. What do you guys say?
That'd be awesome.
I'd be up for that. I think the boys would love to hear about it.
You guys
I
are going to
think-
be podcasting up there.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
We got
Yeah,
them-
we got the mobile recorder and all that. We're
So
taking it
people
up.
listening, we actually probably, I don't know what day, I don't know when this launches, but
This is actually going to launch this coming Thursday.
okay. So real close to when this launches, we're doing a pre-trip
Yep.
podcast for them guys, and then you guys are recording on the trip. So if people are curious to see like the misery or the fun or whatever that goes on throughout the trip, you guys, it'll be rough recordings. 'Cause it's going to be legit wilderness recordings, but
Right.
we're doing that. So
We'll be doing a lot of breakdowns on gear and the conditions we're in and what we're seeing. I mean, we'll probably do 4 or 5 podcasts, and you can consolidate or do whatever you want to do with them. But
Yeah.
like Ross said, there's a good chance for rain up there. So 3 dudes in a tent for a day at a time, we'll probably do some podcasting while we're
Oh yeah.
You guys will be sick of looking at each other.
I feel pretty confident though. I mean, going into an unknown territory with these other 2 dudes plus me, I mean, when the boots hit the ground, I just feel like we're gonna go into ninja mode.
Yep.
The light's
I mean,
gonna. That's
But
switch
every
flips and you're on.
decision, every move you make affects you later on.
Oh yeah.
Up there is what we've been told by our other buddies that have been up there. Like you screw up and make a stupid decision right now, it's going to affect you in about 6 hours. Like you got to be smooth and smart on everything that you do.
no getting drenched and then going back to the truck to get warm and change.
And there's no going back to camp and chilling out and drinking whiskey. Like you pay attention.
You're there.
because you can't be getting jacked up on Crown and root beers and then
It sounds fun, but yeah, it's probably not the best
No,
idea.
and
ideal.
because the wind changes. Let's say we kill one, the first one on the ground, and we have to stay overnight with it. So if the wind changes and you've got that thing set 100 yards away from camp or whatever it is, and all of a sudden the wind swaps and it's blowing that scent right towards your tent, you got to move that thing real quick because that grizzly is going to come right through camp
He's
to
gonna walk
get
right
to
through
it.
camp. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Scary.
It's some of those shit.
I don't need nobody munching on my head while I'm trying to sleep. So
Yeah, no bueno.
True story.
That's tough.
Scary.
That's a scary
that's
thing.
nerve wracking. We'll be exhausted. We'll be drained, but
Dude,
it'll be.
I
Talk
can't wait
about
to
it for the
hear.
rest of your life.
It's like being 100 miles offshore.
That's once in a lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
No shit.
Yeah, but,
I'd be pulling my hair out.
Put
It's
in
like
a
one of the same, bro.
100 miles offshore in a canoe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's
Bingo.
Folgers can.
Folger skin, yeah.
No great whites up there though. That's a good thing.
Yeah, you got grizzlies, way worse.
They're ground great whites.
Same thing, man. But we live for that stuff, though. That is a crazy thing.
If there wasn't that aspect, that little bit of fear and uncertainty, it wouldn't be worth
do
it.
It's an
worth
adventure
going.
hunt. That's what
Right.
makes it an adventure hunt.
Exactly.
What fun would it be?
Yeah,
I
sure.
say it all the time. It might be smart ass or somebody take offense to it, but if it were easy, women and children would be doing it.
That's
So,
right.
What's up?
That's the truth.
Oh, yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
So we got another segment for you boys. One of the things is we started this a little bit ago, and I think it's got some pretty good notoriety with it. But one of the questions that we ask is, what would you change in the industry with all the time that you've been in it?
I guess everybody's looking at me. I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, you can go. I'm sorry, Austin. Yeah, Austin, you
Take
go
it.
first.
You over there?
It just
Sorry.
the negativity thing, like we talked about it earlier, the guys that are like, man, must be nice. Just step back and appreciate what your fellow hunter is doing, like the goals that they're accomplishing.
Yeah.
Just respect and, take a step back and realize that we're a very minute part of the population. All right. This is a small group and we're all in the same boat. So respect to your fellow hunter and a little less shit talking. I think it'd be a lot better place.
And to add to that, tomorrow might be your day. So don't shit talk somebody if you want to attaboy tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
Valid point.
I mean,
I like that.
Very true.
How about you, Eric?
I mean, I think I kind of agree with Austin there. We're all in this together, and it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but all the shit talking, bashing, doing all that shit. Like shit talking's fine when you're just trying to have fun, but
Yeah, of course.
bashing some guy because he shot a deer or something like that, like that shit just needs to end.
Definitely. Mine would be, of course, I agree with that, but I worry about kind of what we talked about, with you guys earlier is like being infiltrated from people that don't live our lifestyle from the inside out because of like money or whatever it may be. Like just like letting big major like news outlets and articles and people that don't live our life, that don't understand it, ruin it for us. I think we need to do a better job, all of us included, of like calling that out and being aware of those situations. A lot of people just like, it's not important. Well, it is important. If one big anti-gun, anti-hunting organization buys a hunting whatever for millions of dollars, like that's why would they do that? That we need to look at that stuff. I think.
Right.
It basically, maybe that's not as important as like some of the legislation and all that stuff, but we just need to be concerned for the future of what we're doing as our lifestyle because it's important. I would say that we just need to focus more awareness on that.
Absolutely.
And I'm part of the problem too, I would think. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not.
be able
We
to
all are.
be able to shed the hate and make a stand when need be.
Yeah,
Honestly, anybody that's hating, you just got to be able to brush it off. But then when it's time to make a stand on something, you better be able to stand up and do it.
I just worry about like when my kids are older and your kids are older and
Yeah.
all our kids are older, that like they can do what we do now.
And their kids after that even.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's the way mindsets are changing. It worries me.
I think, I agree but disagree, right? So I feel that like we talked about it on the ride down here, me and Steven, is that these things, look at the 60s, look at the 80s, right? We all went through that phase where the hipsters or the liberals would get kind of like
Fired up and going. Yeah.
right, exactly. And then that next generation, and I got hope for the next generation. I really do. I put them on a pedestal because I got a couple of young kids that are 15, 16 years old that work with me, and them boys are just like, they are so right wing, it is absolutely funny. And they look at these people in a day and they're like, I do not want to be like that, and I know I don't want to be like that. And they've kind of taken the power and they've kind of stood up, and it's good to see those guys, man, especially for the outdoor world, right? Because being a fisherman, like, you're in it every day and you see these guys and they stand for what we do and they believe in what we do. And it's good to see that, and I think we go in that circle. I think we're in that circle. We're at the peak of it right now. And I think that it's going to change, especially for the outdoor world.
Hope you're right.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. I will say, my nephews are here the other day for the New Windsor Parade, and they all had Trump socks on. And like, not that like, your political party doesn't matter, but in our area where we're from, if you support Trump and stuff, you're more likely like a outdoor lifestyle type person. You worked for your money. You're a conservative. Like you earned your way, and kind of seeing them guys be proud of like that view. Because the car with the Biden flag went by in the parade, and everyone's like, "Eat shit." So I'm like, man, maybe there is a little more of that like red-blooded American vibe left, in the.
I think it's
country.
coming, dude, because they
There's
see
more
that.
there than we think. I think it's
hope
just
so,
starting
yeah.
to become more outspoken, especially with the
And I hate
recent
politics, but-
developments.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not a
Yeah.
politic guy.
Yeah.
We're in some crazy times right now. I've been advocating. Our current Illinois governor has a mask mandate right now. So if you want to send your kids to school right now, they have to wear a mask. Like, no questions asked. You don't get a choice. You have to wear a mask. So that's what I've been dealing with for the last 2 weeks. Going to school board meetings, standing up for my kids. Long story short, had to pull them out of school this week. But I mean, it's time. It's time we teach our kids that it's time to take a stand. Yep.
I agree.
It's just
And everything that they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ridiculous thing about it is we're still at a level 5 in the state of Illinois. So Fat Boy up there is saying everybody at school has to have a mask on, but you can still go to the bar with no mask. You can still go to the grocery store with no mask, gas stations, all that.
Hell, New Windsor Rodeo 2
Yeah.
days ago. How many masks did we see? 2
2 in the whole parade.
So
out of 500, 600, 700 people. I don't know.
my point, this is the last stand that they have as government is schools, because that's taxpayer dollars. Now I can get into politics. I get
Yeah,
pretty
we're going
wound
down.
up.
We're going down there. We just took
That hole opened up
saying.
real quick.
Open the rabbit hole.
We'll just leave that alone.
guys, and let's be positive. We gotta
Yes.
fuck the hate, you know what I mean? But fuck them guys.
We might have to
Anyways.
do a part 2 to this podcast.
Yeah. No,
That's a whole new realm.
100.2.
So what would you change in the outdoor industry other than politics?
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
What would I change? I don't know.
What was the question?
I mean, these guys all laid everything out there. I'd say pretty much. I don't have anything else to go on top of that. So
I agree. I mean, I'm with you guys on that, right? And I'll give a little bit of an answer because it's something that always it's pretty strong for me, especially on the local level, man. My thing is deer shaming. My deer shaming is one of those things, man. Like we all have more time than readily available for most to hunt, right? And we do pretty well for ourselves when it comes to deer. What some better than others, sorry Lord, and Ross, but it is what it is. No, just kidding. But deer shaming, like that dude that might want to shoot that buck or that small deer or whatever the case may be, that dude might not have his day, right? Like he might be only able to hunt
You're
1
right.
2 days a week or whatever, you know.
I don't see
at
much
that
deer
level,
shaming anymore, though.
it's fucking huge by me, man.
Really?
And the worst part about it, right, is the worst part that I think is that these guys that are deer shaming, they ain't shooting that big a deer, dude. They're only
No.
shooting like 125s, right? So they're like,
It's the must be nice guys
Yeah.
the other direction.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
that's right.
They ride somewhere off the grid, and that's negative everywhere.
Well, and we all have different goals in the outdoors, right? Like for me, I want to see big, mature animals get killed, right? That's not for everybody, and I understand that. Like you might have the guy that hunts 2 weekends a year and goes out and shoots a nice little 6. I mean, kudos to him.
one's backstrapping,
Hell
that's it.
yeah, dude. He filled his tag. That's awesome.
But like,
And
if I
that's
go
what-
out and shoot a 130-inch deer, Austin ain't gonna jump down my throat and
Right.
call me a fucking idiot.
Hell
you
no,
know?
man.
At least not on the air.
Right.
That's not what,
or they always
that's
go,
not what it's all
public.
about, though.
I'd give it another year or whatever the case may be. You know,
Sure,
they're just
right.
constant like that. But
Yeah.
but the thing is that
I shot a 130 last year.
big deal.
Yeah, he was like 8
I love
or
it.
9. This is freaking ancient.
He was an old dog, but
Hey,
It's a mature deer.
it's a good
Yeah.
buck, though,
Yeah.
too.
And
130 is a good buck.
And that's one of those things is that we have so much firing coming from the outside that we all need to band together and help one another. Not collapse, because we're collapsing it on the inside out on our own.
that's true.
I mean,
That's right.
to be real,
Oh, yeah.
we truly are.
There's both. Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
so it's kind of ridiculous, and I get so upset and so wound tight about it because especially coming from the forum world, right? Because that's where I all started. That's where my world started.
Yep.
Don't remember I was telling last night. Don't read about yourself
Yeah.
on forums, boy. I started going down that murky hole yesterday. I don't know
Ooh.
why. I was
Turn
just, like,
around.
curious what was updated
Yeah.
on the internet, and I was like,
Make you feel bad about yourself real quick.
Yeah, but they're so
it
old.
down.
It's so old school. A lot of forum people are old school.
"Hey, we did get a shout out. We shouted out the Iowa.
Oh, whitetail.
We shout out Iowa Whitetail.
Yep.
Did you see that link?
Yep.
And someone was like, "Hey, shout out to Working Class. Gave us a pretty cool shout out on Iowa Whitetail."
That's
And
awesome.
Then there's a couple people in there like, "Oh, they cuss. Fuck them. Legit." But no, I'm kidding. Everybody was like pretty cool in there.
That would have been cool if they would have said that.
Oh, I'm sure there's one in there. I didn't go. I was scared to keep scrolling.
I just stay away from it. That's don't
I
even-
try.
I'll avoid it.
I stopped with the online Facebooks and all that stuff. I just stopped putting my opinion in them. I stopped posting pictures to them. I don't even care anymore, honestly, because it's just gotten so bad. These like weekend warriors that think that they're the greatest thing, especially in the fishing world. I mean, that makes it the worst.
I heard fishing industry is way worse.
Dude, it's disgusting, and it's bigger. That's the worst part. I think.
I heard it's like
Huge.
5 times as big. What's
Huge.
ICAST is like the ATA for fishing. Yeah.
It's nuts, right? And there's just like, I think that they're way worse because the problem is a lot of them. There's a lot more high players, right? And it's bad. Some of the, especially offshore tournaments and stuff. Those guys are fucking brutal, dude. And they got big money involved, and they start running their mouths and they start talking shit. And then this guy's not doing this. It's a whole snowball effect of horribleness. It's like taking the deer world and times it by 10.
I'm good with. Let's just go back to deer shaming. You know.
Yeah. Bring it back to the basics.
Just go back to
Just
the
gonna
basics.
stay in my lane and do my thing.
Yeah. So our last but not least question is, what drives you outdoors? We'll start with let's go with Ross first.
I'll tell you what, it's just the peace of being in the woods. I mean, there's nothing better than being able to get out there, get away from the world. You feel like you're just in your own little world at that point. And then, I don't know, I've said this. I had a buddy's girlfriend, wife now. We were kind of double dating a lot in high school. She said one night, she's like, so what's the big deal about killing a big buck? Why is it so... I was shooting some big bucks back then, and she's like, "What's the big deal? Is it just like a masculinity thing or what?" I'm like,
I said, "Listen, bitch.
No."
I'll tell you something.
I said, well, I mean, in a way, but
Sit down.
but I said the bottom line is it's trying to outsmart the smartest animal in the woods. For me, it's a game,
Right.
and if I can get away from the world and be in peace for a little while, and try to outsmart this big smart fucker, I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
Right.
I just want to get out there and figure him out and then go after him. I mean, I'm pretty damn sure the Lord put these deer on this earth for us to hunt.
Not me, the other one.
Oh, sorry.
Like the big one.
I'm like, Austin, come to Connecticut, bub.
Like way farther north.
Hey, we forgot there's 2 lords.
Big man upstairs.
How about you, Curt? What drives you outdoors, buddy?
Sorry, Lord. I just like I don't know, man. To me, it's like a family thing, like memories with my old man and stuff. But really, me mentally, it's like keeps me on track. I'd be in prison if I didn't have hunting. Like honestly, I'd just be in trouble probably. I don't know if I'd be in prison, but I'd be ornery.
I'd be
Maybe on
hungry.
probation.
I'd be out on parole or something.
He'd have an ankle bracelet on for sure.
He'd be waiting
I'd
for
be
a
house
hearing.
arrest of the studio.
I like what you said there about family, though. I mean, all this shit ties back to family, how we started out.
What kept me out of
I mean-
trouble, what got me in with family, and then now it's like now with the podcast, it's like the sense of community that we have.
Yep.
So it keeps my life on track for me.
Absolutely. And I go back to what you're saying, Ross, too. Tradition, man. Tradition is what built the hunting industry for us.
Yep.
The hunting world for us is tradition, whether it's fishing opening day, whether it's hunting on opening day. I mean, I pick a day. Y'all said you want to hunt on opening day.
Yep.
That's tradition, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what builds it.
Even the cavemen hunted. Like, you had to hunt for food.
Yep.
That's where it all started.
It's in our
And the
DNA.
Indians had to kill so that they could feed their families. The same deal. Just kept on rolling up. Now we're in modern times, and that's
What we
where
keep
we're at.
doing.
Yeah.
That's right.
How about you, Eric?
I think just growing up doing it, it's just one of those things where like it's something I'm always gonna be into. You know, there was a couple years there where I didn't hunt at all, and it killed me. And I'm like, I need to get back into hunting because it just gives me that mindset, gives the reset button every time October 1st comes around. You know, you get back out in the woods, and it's a reset button. People can work out every day and do all that. That's their piece or whatever. For us, it's hunting, hunting, fishing. You know, I grew up hunting, fishing, doing everything. Also,
Loving every day.
That's right.
Every day.
He said it.
I was gonna hit the laugh track button. I couldn't remember which one it is.
That's right.
How about you, Austin?
No, these guys have all hit the nail on the head. I mean, we're all doing it for the same reason. We all grew up in an area where it's game rich. We're very grateful to have grown up in this small little area. I've always been infatuated with the outdoors. It's what I look forward to. I mean, it gives us something to look forward to every year. We're waiting for that October, November time frame. So that's what we look forward to. It's what we live for. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can't thank you guys enough for letting us join you here in the studio and do our 100th episode, and especially some guys that I looked up to throughout the hunting world and growing up through the podcast ladder and so on and so forth. You guys are definitely awesome, and I can't thank you guys enough.
Oh man,
Appreciate having you guys, man.
Yeah, definitely. Curt, real quick before we go, let everyone know where they can find you.
WorkingClassBowhunter.com, every podcast platform, YouTube, Carbon TV, and soon Drury Outdoors, Deercast, and Drury Outdoors YouTube.
And all the forums, go check them out.
All the forums.
So basically what you're saying is you
Hate is gonna
literally
hate.
can't live under a rock. They're there.
Hey, fuck them. Oh yeah, by the way, we're on TikTok now. What's up for the kids?
For the kids. It's for the children.
Yeah, for the children. Instagram, Facebook, all the goodies.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, again for 100.
Thank you,
been
guys.
Thanks
an
for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having us.
blast being out here for 100 and sharing it with you guys. And I'm not going to drag it on. Everyone out there listening, we're 100 in. We're going a couple hundred more. Thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.